ridiculed us last year.
Hello, I am Stewart Lee.
And my name is Luca. I live on the second floor. I live upstairs from you. Yes, I think you've seen me before.
Wait, is your name Luca?
Yes, it is.
No, listen to the question, listen to the words. Is your name Luca?
Oh, no, it's Richard Herring.
Do you live on the second floor?
No, I live on the first floor.
Do you live upstairs from me?
No, I live upstairs from Andy Krupa.
On your own?
No, I've got a plant. But it died.
Put it all together, all together.
My name's Richard Herring. I live on the first floor. I live upstairs from Andy Krupa alone with a dead plant.
Good.
You always spoil everything I do. It was good before that.
And coming up later on the show today at 12:23, we'll be taking a look at one of Channel 5's flagship new quality pieces of original programming, Changing Rooms, in which a hidden camera is placed in a women's changing room. And that's it.
At 12:25, we'll be talking to the producers of Robot Wars and asking them if it's strictly necessary for all the presenters of that show to talk like this. Give them a round of applause.
And we're coming to you henceforth from the fashionable Riverside Studios here in West London, which is, of course, also home to Chris Evans' TFI Friday.
Oh, I love Chris Evans, Stu.
Oh, yeah?
I'm hoping I can be the new him, only more self-indulgent.
Possible.
I was spying on Chris Evans the other day, Stu. He's a monster, a monster.
Rich, saying it in staccato fashion doesn't make it any more true.
He's a monster, my friend.
Rich, saying it in a Southern Baptist preacher accent doesn't make it any more true.
He's a monster, Stu.
What was he up to?
You know what he'd done? He'd frozen his bodily fluids onto sticks, right?
Yeah.
And he was driving around in an ice cream van selling them to small children.
Surely not, he wouldn't do that.
It's the truth.
Why?
I think what he enjoyed was watching their laughing, happy faces turn to confusion and fear.
And what was Will doing during this?
Well, he was sort of standing just behind Chris Evans, watching, going... But, I still love Chris Evans, Stu. That's why I'm not going to call this show TMWRNJ anymore.
Don't. Oh, you didn't.
How soon they forget. No, I'm going to be like TFI Friday and call it TMWRNJ.
Yeah, it doesn't work, though, does it? Because TFI Friday, that's like an outrageous title, because the F, that stands for a rude word.
Does it? Which one? Well, it does in our title
What does
as well.
it stand for?
It does. TMWRNJ actually stands for This Morning with Rectum, Not Judy. What do you think of that?
Weak.
How can one born of woman be pure? It's difficult, but if they are thoroughly scrubbed for long enough and hard enough, the stench will eventually fade.
What have you been up to this week, Stuart, I was wondering?
Well, this week I've been visiting all the people who gave me their address while I was backpacking around Europe 10 years ago to see if they really meant it when they said I could come and stay any time. Oh, I see your offer was just an empty gesture of politeness. You said any time. We'll set some parameters in future, you lying Portuguese fool. What about you?
Well, I've been hanging around in Piccadilly Circus in central London, stopping passers-by and saying, "Blimey, it's like Piccadilly Circus out here, isn't it?" Then really laughing really loudly.
You've done that all day?
No, Stu, don't be an idiot. It gets boring after about 11 hours of doing that. Then I go down to Soho and stand outside the sex shop Janus.
Oh, yeah, on Old Compton Street.
Ah, I see you know it.
No.
And whenever an old man comes out of the sex shop with a bag of stuff he's just bought, I go, "Ha-ha, you like sex." And then I run away, Stu.
Hello, I'm Greg Evigan. I used to present When Insects Attack. A poor quality program based on a very slender conceit. I thought it was stupid, but it looked good on paper. Anyway, that's all behind me now. When Sir Isaac Newton invented gravity, he was oh so very pleased with himself. But would he have been so delighted if he had known the suffering that his gravity would cause? Journey with me now as we see what happens when things get knocked over, spill, or fall out of cupboards. Let's find out. This week, beetroot.
I remember it was a Saturday. It was an access day. I had Tim round for the night. Well, I let him stay up and watch Rory Bremner, and I sat there and ate my beetroot. I'd had a few beers, well, nothing to make a song and dance about. And, well, anyway, I've been getting this whole arm-shaking thing since the divorce. made my arm shoot out and splash Beechwood all over Tim's T-shirt. And, well, Margaret would love that, wouldn't she? Me bringing Tim home covered with beetroot juice. Anyway, I started shouting at him, and I suppose it wasn't really his fault. The next day we went to the market and found a T-shirt much the same. Margaret didn't even notice. Still, what if she did? I don't care. I mean, what's the world coming to if a man can't spill beetroot on his own son?
Peter Gibbs and his son, Tim Gibbs Norman, certainly won't be eating beetroot in front of the Rory Bremner show again, no matter how much they hunger for its crunchy purple tubers. Instead, they have feasted on the bitter fruit of experience that is served up raw when things get knocked over or spill or fall out of cupboards. I'm Greg Evigan. Goodbye. I made this.
I'm looking at the news here. I'm glad to see Prince Edward has confirmed what everybody in the media and the gay community knew for a fact all along. He has proved that he is gay.
You can't say that about
Prince Edward is gay. Everyone knows it. What? And he's gone and proved it by agreeing to marry Griff Rhys-Jones.
He's not married. He's married Sophie Rhys-Jones, Rich.
Hey?
A woman.
But how? He's gay.
All right, Rich, why did everyone in the media and the gay community, why do they always think Prince Edward was gay anyway?
Simple, Stu, because he's 30, male, single, and he works in show business.
Yeah, well, so do you.
No, that's a different case.
But his mum looked like Bobby Robson as well.
You shut up, she doesn't look like Bobby Robson.
Now, if you've seen the news, Prince Charles has been complaining about the amount of money that's been going to...
Would you like a fruit salad
I don't want
juice?
A fruit salad, Rich, no, just leave it.
Do you remember fruit salad juice?
Yeah, I remember it, just leave it. Yeah, okay. And the Queen Mother's income, they're looking at cutting it. To try...
Fondue, Stu.
What are you doing, giving me fruit salads and fondue?
I'm doing some ironic, nostalgic comedy about the 70s, Stu. It's the new thing, everyone. Remember fondue, Stu?
Yeah, I remember
the 70s?
it, yeah, I remember.
It was hilarious, wasn't
I remember it, yeah.
It's like my favourite programme at the moment, Days Like These.
Oh, yeah. Days Like These, if you saw it, its main source of humour derives from the fact that many aspects of popular and consumer culture that appeared commonplace in the 70s now, in retrospect, seem absurdly naive or foolish.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? I'm glad you like it too. You know, Days Like These are so popular, they actually have to keep moving it around in the schedules.
Yeah.
To give the other programmes a chance. It's good. Do you remember the 70s?
Yeah, I remember
Do you remember
the 70s.
those old Top of the Pops
Yeah,
albums?
I remember them.
It's hilarious, isn't it?
Yeah. And in the past... Here's our aims for the next 7 days.
Aim 1 is to prove that laughter really is the best medicine by screening Robin Williams' new film, Patch Adams, 24 hours a day in all hospitals, and then watch the sick miraculously rise from their beds and leave.
Aim 2 is to remind Richard Branson that although the round-the-world balloon record has fallen, no one has yet sailed a balloon directly into the heart of the sun.
Aim 3. Up for the taking. Aim 3 is to make Lady Camilla Parker Bowles' public appearances more acceptable to unforgiving die-hard royalists by making her wear a Lady Diana mask.
And Aim 4 is to hope that now Kelly Brook has been chosen as the new female presenter of The Big Breakfast, that it'll mean that all those B-list Channel 5 and children's TV presenters stick-insect 20-something slags who spent all last autumn posing in their bra and knickers in GQ and Esquire in the hope of being spotted by the Big Breakfast talent scouts will finally put their clothes back on and spare us the disgusting sight of their repellent, undernourished skeleton bodies and squashed-up Wonder Bra curdled milk chicken breasts.
Some kind of problem with that, Stu?
No, it's fine.
Good. And Aim 5 is to be the first to reveal the identity of Prince Edward's best man, It's John Inman.
Just leave that.
You see what I'm saying? Danny LaRue is going to be the matron of honour to you, apparently.
And so, I say to you, it is easier for a camel or a very large piece of rope, depending on what translation of me speaking now you are using in the future, to pass through the eye of a or the needle, likewise, than it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. Not saying Matthew. What ails you?
I'm sore afraid, Lord. Sore.
Don't laugh, Judas. Obvious what he meant.
We've been away from our jobs following you, and I have no money to buy food or clothes.
Consider the lily of the field.
Yeah?
See how they grow, and yet they neither toil nor spin. So I say to you, Matthew, do not be anxious about your life, what you shall eat, what you shall drink, nor about your body and what clothes you shall put on it.
So what are you saying? No, stop saying I don't understand what you're getting at.
Don't you understand? I do. Understood right away. It's easy.
Consider the lilies.
I have done.
Well, consider it a bit more.
Yes, Matthew. Consider.
Shut up! I have considered it. I've considered it as much as I can. It's a lily.
Matthew, if the Lord God so clothes the lily, will he not much more clothe you, O man of little faith?
Look, stop going all right? It's not helping you going as if it's obvious what you're saying.
It is obvious.
No, it isn't. What you're saying is saying that we don't need to go to work. All we need to do is be like a lily, go out in the field, lie naked, and then God's just going to automatically give us food and clothes, is he? No!
Consider the lily.
No, stop saying consider the lily, all right? Doesn't make any sense what you're saying. The reason a lily doesn't need to go out to work, stop saying all right, and listen, it just gets food, nutrients from the soil, from photosynthesis. But I can't do that, can I? I can't, I haven't got any roots, I haven't got any chlorophyll in me, have I? Not magic. No, not I'm a man, not a plant. We're not the same.
You are.
No, we're not.
Consider the lily.
No, screw a lily. Screw it up. It's not enough, is it? Just to go consider the lily. And then go It's not enough. It's not an situation. I've got my wife on my back, right? Don't make a face like that, Jesus. Saying, I want some money for sandals for the kids. No, well, I don't care. What am I going to say to it's all right. Don't worry, I'm just going to lie nude in a field. That'll sort it out. No.
Consider...
No. Answer the question.
Well, Peter understood what I meant, didn't you, Peter?
Yes, Lord.
Exactly, so...
It's Pimpsy.
Yeah. So Peter can explain it to you, Matthew, now, perhaps. Well, I've got to go. I'll be back in a bit.
Well, consider the lily. That's it.
Oliver Stone is actually currently being sued by the family of some people who were murdered by a couple allegedly influenced by natural-born killers. Now, I don't think you can start taking that...
I think that's good, Stu, because do you remember that time I was accused of going into that changing room, the ladies' changing room, blindfolding myself and molesting all those women?
Yeah.
I can just say I was influenced by Rory McGrath and they think it's all over now. Get off.
Now it's time for this. Now it's time for controversial columnist, our new guest, best known as the Ironic Review's voice of the gutter, Gary Putner.
You're having a laugh. Good morning, lords and ladies. Me? On BBC Two? You're having a laugh, ain't you? Well, who's been having a laugh this week? Vinnie Jones, eh? Off to Hollywood? Ooh! You're having a laugh, ain't you? Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis? You're having a laugh. Don King's hair? Ooh! Has he seen a ghost? We're having a laugh. At your hair, Don. Labour MP Joe Ashton adjusting his tie in a massage parlour. Oh, you're having a laugh, Mr. Ashton. Whoa. The Queen Mother, £643,000 a year, Still can't afford a decent dentist. Oh, come on, Mum. One is having a laugh. We don't want to look at gnashers like Shane McGowan on the face of the nation's favourite granny. We've got Camilla Parker Bowles for that. Now she is having a laugh. Days like these, whoa, you are most definitely not having a laugh. Not now, not then, or not never. Ta-ta, toffee-nosed BBC Two toffs. Stick that in your Arga and pan fry. You're having a laugh, ain't you?
Gary Putner there, he's like Jeremy Clarkson on donuts.
Leave that now, let it go.
I'm here with King Nick. Enjoying being king?
Oh, it's marvellous.
Yeah? Did you enjoy Gary Putner there?
I did actually, yeah.
Thank you.
And now this.
Batten down the hatches! Oh, hello, children. It's me, Histor, Sky TV's Crow, who is interested in the twin worlds of piracy and historical events. What are you doing, Pliny?
I'm batting down the hatches like you asked, Histor.
I said batten down the hatches.
Oh.
A nautical term
Worm like a bird eats early.
for closing
Egging.
the doors
Caw like a bird caws.
to the hold.
Hold like a bird holds a twig. Anyway, what's the news, Histor?
Well, you may have seen on the grown-up news that a sitcom about the 70s has been axed.
Exed. But what is the 70s, Histor? I have feather of tit.
To find that out, we must fly back
Like a bird's back.
to the 1970s.
The 19 eggs and the 7 eggs. The 26 eggs. I said egg.
Shut up! Come with me now, Pliny. As the crow flies.
As the egg fries. What place is this, Histor?
This is the decade that taste forgot.
The deck egg that takes off fried egg. And who is that man coming there, Histor?
Hello there, Histor. I'm a man from the 70s. Look at my clothes. They are slightly old-fashioned.
They used to wear clothes like that. Oh, look at you. Do you remember the 70s, don't you?
Would you like a cheese and pineapple on a stick?
They used to eat that, didn't you? You used to eat it. You remember?
Would you like to listen to my Bay City Rollers album on vinyl?
They used to have different musical tastes and audio reproductive technology, didn't you? Do you remember?
Would you like a blackjack chew?
No, blackjack chews. They used to eat those, the idiots.
But Histor, blackjack chews are still available in the 90s.
No, they aren't.
They are. And anyway, surely the fashions of any decade will appear ridiculous 20 years later. Besides which, the 70s also produced the punk rock revolution, the birth of grassroots environmental and feminist protest, and the most creative cinema since film was invented.
No, they didn't. They did not. The 70s were ridiculous. Look at him. And there's an end on it.
There's a head on it.
So, that was the 70s.
The feathered knees like a bird's knees.
Look at what you have done, Penny. Look. You've killed nearly all my unborn children.
I thought you said back down the hatches, Histor.
I didn't, did I? If I wanted to do that, I wouldn't have used a clumsy phrase like bat down the hatches. I'd have said smash the eggs with a cricket bat.
Smash the eggs with a cricket bat, Histor?
Yes.
Why, certainly.
Oh, no. No.
Destroy all
My
human and animal
children.
life.
Goodbye, children. Curse you, God, for making me this way.
Anyway, we all know what happened in the past, but let's see if we can predict the future. Please welcome our next guest, all the way from the 16th century, Nostradamus. Whoa there. Hello there, Nostradamus. It's nice to see you. And what are your predictions for events that are going to happen in the coming week, Nostradamus?
Well, Rich, prediction number 1. This week, I think we'll see an Irish band beginning with the letter B go into the number 1 slot tonight.
Oh, that'd never happen.
Prediction number 2. A cartoon will appear in a national newspaper of someone on drugs flying above the ground. Whoa there, boy.
Flighty, isn't it?
Prediction
Flighty.
number 3. The Lord of Terror will come from the sky, and before and after the earth shall be thick with frogs.
Well, would you mind coming back next week to see if your predictions came true, Nostradamus?
Fine, goodbye.
See you. Hi, Nostradamus. They're quite a character, isn't he, Nostradamus? Quite a character. He's like Mystic Meg on testosterone.
No, Rich, he's like Mystic Meg on a cheap pantomime horse.
Shh, don't spoil the magical illusion.
OK, go on.
Are numb. Lazy lying journalist scum. Lazy lying journalist scum.
This week we're looking at a very lazy piece of journalism, a formulaic joke that is made again and again by idle hacks. The formula, please, Ian Lee.
Here it is. X is like Y on Z, where X is a current personality or entertainer, Y is another, usually old-fashioned entertainer, and Z is, of course, a type of drug. Here's some examples.
Michael Bracewell in The Guardian said, Reeves and Mortimer seem like Morecambe and Wise on acid.
Time Out called Phil Kay like Eddie Izzard on amphetamines.
And Lewis Jones in The Telegraph said Trevor and Simon resemble Bill and Ben the Flower Pot Men on drugs.
How lazy? What drug did he mean? All drugs have different effects, you know. Could mean hair growth or huge breasts if it's hormones. Who knows what he means?
Fantastic. And here's the traditional, arranged by Tim Cooper in the London Evening Standard. Lee Evans is like Norman Wisdom on acid.
But is that true or just lazy journalist lies? This week I decided to find out if Norman Wisdom on acid would actually resemble Lee Evans at all.
Yep, that's fine. I've got the tea ready, so... To find out what Norman Wisdom on acid would look like, I invited him along to our office for a cup of tea.
Would you like a cup of tea? Yes, please. I'll just go and get one.
And what Norman Wisdom does not know here is that the tea is spiked with the mind-bending hallucinogen lysergic acid diethylmide.
I've just got to go away for 5 minutes, and then I'll be back there. Okay.
Please don't try this at home, ladies and gentlemen. Spiking the drinks of respected elderly comedians is not only illegal, it is also quite rude.
Half an hour later, the acid kicked in, and I was able to compare the act of Lee Evans with Norman Wisdom literally on acid. This is what Lee Evans is like. And this is our film of Norman Wisdom on acid. So this is Lee Evans. And this is Norman Wisdom on acid. So, Lee Evans, sweaty, hyperactive, funny. And Norman Wisdom on acid, frightened, confused, cold.
So there's no similarity whatsoever there, and I've clearly proved that journalists are lazy, lying scum.
Yeah, I must say I'm looking forward to the reviews we're going to get for this show, Steve.
I don't care. Journalist fascists, Rich.
I admire you, Steve, for that. You're like Mark Thomas on Prozac.
Stop doing that. Now it's time for extra final scenes, where we make good films worse and bad films better by adding our own extra final scenes.
Titanic, current plot. Against the background of the famous nautical disaster, upper-class English Rose, Kate Winslet, is romanced by Irish-American pauper Leonardo DiCaprio. Their daring relationship crosses all social boundaries.
Jack. Jack.
And though their love is ultimately doomed by circumstance, it goes on to live in her heart for all eternity.
Extra final scene. As Winslet is carried away by the rescue boat, the sprout-faced Leonardo DiCaprio, whom we had assumed drowned, bobs to the surface and says,
"Oh, thank God I've seen the last of that fat cow. Shouldn't have got on my whitlow, but Jesus. So, at least I got to give her one." And I deliberately sank the ship just to get rid of her. I'm evil.
Oh, hi. You just caught me enjoying some milk. It's funny, ever since I drank the milk of unusual animals on the last series, I've been inundated with almost 3 letters from people who also like to drink milk other than cow or human milk. Most of you want to know what's the best unusual milk to drink. Well, each week I'm going to be road tasting a few of the milks on the market and giving you my milk opinion about each milk. This week, bat milk. It's got a lovely fruity bouquet, though this is a fruit bat. And the taste? It's got a very woody taste, in the American sense of the word. I enjoy the fact that the bat can deliver the milk to you wherever you are in the world of whatever height, thanks to its ability of flight and radar. On the downside, some rarer species of bats carry viruses that may one day wipe out mankind. For that reason, I can only give it 6 out of 10. There'll always be milk.
Terrible, terrible. It's just like something Hale and Pace would do that.
It's like Hale and Pace on milk,
No,
Stu.
no.
Do you remember the 70s, Stu?
Yeah,
do you?
I said,
Do you remember the 1st of January 1970?
Yes, I remember, yeah.
Do you remember the 2nd of January 1970?
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
Do you remember the 3rd of January 1970?
yeah. That's not
Do you remember
enough.
the 4th of January
It's not
1970?
enough.
Don't stop me now, Stu. I've got 3,648 more crackers where those came from.
So I found out recently that my dad was a man. So I killed him! Kill all the men, kill all the men. Kill the man. Kill all the men, kill all the men. Kill the men, kill all the men. Their penises are small. Kill them all!
Oh, it was an amazing time. What was it? Kill all the men, kill all the men. All the men were booing, and some of the women were too. I think the thing was that I was the only woman at that time that was actually standing up on stage and saying that all men should be killed.
And then I killed him!
I think without my Kill All the Men song, that the world today would be an unrecognisably different place. Amazing times. Today I review sex aids on live TV. But at the back of my mind I'm always thinking, oh, kill all the men! Incredible times for British comedy.
So, what have you been up to, Rich, while the series has been off the air?
Well, actually, I've just been over to Hollywood on my own. I went over in the fall, that's what we call the autumn over there, to pitch some movie scripts. It's good.
Oh, how'd you get on, anyway?
It's terrible, Stu. They're hypocrites, are they? Hypocrites.
Saying it like that doesn't make it any more true.
They're hypocrites.
Saying it in a high voice doesn't make it any more true.
They're hypocrites, Stu.
Why?
You know, they made the film King Kong,
It's a
didn't
good
they?
film.
Film about a giant monkey trying to force himself onto a woman, right?
Yeah.
They call that entertainment.
Yeah.
When I gave him my script about a man, played by me, trying to force himself onto a very small monkey, they said people would find it distasteful.
A script about what?
A film about me getting off with a monkey, Stu.
Where'd you get the idea for that from?
You know, from observing things in life. My life, mainly.
You are sick. You are sick.
Stu. I'm not. I love all the monkeys. I love them crazily. And they love me back. That's why they stay with me, Stu. I'm not prejudiced, Stu. I like them all. Proboscis monkeys, spider monkeys, howler monkeys. Of course, they're all howler monkeys by the time I finish.
You are sick.
No, it's natural, Stu. Monkeys share 97% of our DNA.
Yeah, they share 100% of yours, don't they?
When I needed a neighbour, were you there? Were you there? No. You were on holiday in Portugal. How very convenient, Mr. and Mrs. Dixon.
Remember the 70s, Stu? Everything that happened
Stop
in the
doing
70s...
that now, stop it!
Everything that happened was funny in the 70s, Stu. Do you remember the Baader-Meinhof gang atrocities in Germany,
What?
Stu?
That wasn't funny, Rich.
It is, Stu. It happened in the 70s.
What are you
it's
saying?
funny. Remember the race riots in Soweto,
Not
Stu?
funny, it is.
Remember the death of Pope John Paul I? Oh, I've become Pope. Do you remember?
funny, is it?
Remember the assassination of the president of North Yemen? Oh, my North
That's not
Yemenese
funny, is
head.
it? What are you saying?
Do you remember the murder of Sharon Tate by Charles Manson?
That happened in 1969.
Oh, you're right, that isn't funny.
No, it isn't, no. It doesn't matter, none of those things were funny, Rich, right? No, it's not enough just to remember things from the 70s. They have to be funny as well.
They are funny, Stu, because
Why?
they were all carried out by people with permed hair, tank tops and wearing flares, Stu. Imagine that.
I am truly sorry.
Now it's time to welcome back someone we all thought we'd seen the last of. My curious citric...
No, he's crushed to death, no.
No, that which was lost is found. Will you please welcome my only begotten son, the Curious Orange?
No.
Hello, Mr. Rich. Hello, Mr. Stew. I'm Curious Orange.
And what you... Hey, shut up. And what are you curious about this week, I wonder?
Well, I'm very curious to know why do I always sit next to the nutter on the bus? Every time you can guarantee
you sit next to the nutter on the bus, do you? You do. A speaking citrus fruit head thing.
Yes?
But I'm a bit curious about something myself. I'm curious, why are you here at all? Right, you were crushed to death by popular demand. Why are you here?
Well, Mr. Stew, thereby hangs a curious tale. I'm not sure I remember it all clearly, but I think it went a little bit like this. Like this.
Stew.
Like this.
Wobble, Stew.
Like this.
I remember singing my song and the children dancing. And then pain, terrible pain, people laughing, the taste of juice in my mouth. And then nothing. But luckily, not everyone wanted to see me dead. The mad professor rescued me, and using outlawed cloning knowledge, he brought me back to life. That mad scientist gave me the love that my father had never given me. Then I made a terrible discovery. I knew Master was a monster, guilty of crimes against citrus fruits. I had no option. And then I immediately came back here to resume my unique brand of curiosity and vitamin C rich goodness.
Oh, God, I'm delighted.
You know, son, I'm so sorry I just stood back and allowed you to be callously slaughtered last year as well. I just laughed at you. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right, Dad. I forgive you.
Do not underestimate me. I will have my revenge. Now I am a genetically modified fruit Frankenstein. And one day you shall all see my power.
What was that?
Nothing.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's like a tangerine on steroids. He's my boy and I love him. The Curious Orange, my friend.
the show.
I know, Stu, we can't end the show. We can't. We need a big 70s extravaganza, ironic, postmodern kitsch ending, Stu. We do. We need all the audience dressed up in 70s clothes.
Okay.
We need some crazy 70s food. Look,
well, if you want to write to us using 1970s postal mail, there's the address there for that. Or alternatively, if you're a nerd from space, you can email us on that address there.
Pineapple on the stick,
no,
Stu.
Thanks,
Come on.
or you can get to Rob Sedgebeer's website for us via a link on the BBC site, which is this address
dancers,
here.
We've got our 70s dancers. We need a 70s song.
I'll sing a song that is curiously apt.
Let's go. See everyone.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man. No time to talk. Music loud. The women walk. I've been kicked around since I was born.
Time to watch This Morning with Richard Not Judy.
You should have killed us last year.
Hello, I am Stewart Lee.
And my name is Luca. I live on the second floor. I live upstairs from you. Yes, I think you've seen me before.
Wait, is your name Luca?
Yes, it is.
No, listen to the question, listen to the words. Is your name Luca?
Oh, no, it's Richard Herring.
Do you live on the second floor?
No, I live on the first floor.
Do you live upstairs from me?
No. I'm Fear.
And what was Will doing during this?
Well, he was sort of standing just behind Chris Evans, watching, going... But, I still love Chris Evans, Stu. That's why I'm not going to call this show TMWRNJ anymore.
Don't. Oh, you didn't.
How soon they forget. No, I'm going to be like TFI Friday and call it TMWRNJ.
Yeah, it doesn't work, though, does it? Because TFI Friday, that's like an outrageous title, because the F, that stands for a rude word.
Does it? Which one? Well, it does in our title
as
well.
What does it stand for?
It does. TMWRNJ actually stands for This Morning with Rectum, Not Judy. What do you think of that? I live upstairs from Andy Krupa.
On your own?
No, I've got a plant. But it died.
Put it all together, all together.
My name's Richard Herring. I live on the first floor. I live upstairs from Andy Krupa alone with a dead plant.
Good.
You always spoil everything I do. It was good before that.
And coming up later on the show today at 12:23, we'll be taking a look at one of Channel 5's flagship new quality pieces of original programming, Changing Rooms, in which a hidden camera is placed in a women's changing room. And that's it.
At 12:25, we'll be talking to the producers of Robot Wars and asking them if it's strictly necessary for all the presenters of that show to talk like this. Give them a round of applause.
And we're coming to you henceforth from the fashionable Riverside Studios here in West London, which is, of course, also home to Chris Evans' TFI Friday.
Oh, I love Chris Evans, Stu.
Oh, yeah?
I'm hoping I can be the new him, only more self-indulgent.
Possible.
I was spying on Chris Evans the other day, Stu. He's a monster. A monster.
Rich, saying it in staccato fashion doesn't make it any more true.
He's a monster, my friend.
Rich, saying it in a Southern Baptist preacher accent doesn't make it any more true.
He's a monster, Stu.
What was he up to?
You know what he'd done? He'd frozen his bodily fluids onto sticks, right?
Yeah.
And he was driving around in an ice cream van selling them to small children.
Surely not. He wouldn't do that.
It's the truth.
Why?
I think what he enjoyed was watching their laughing, happy faces turn to confusion.
Weak.
How can one born of woman be pure? It's difficult, but if they are thoroughly scrubbed for long enough and hard enough, the stench will eventually fade.
What have you been up to this week, Stuart, I was wondering?
Well, this week I've been visiting all the people who gave me their address while I was backpacking around Europe 10 years ago to see if they really meant it when they said I could come and stay any time. I see your offer was just an empty gesture of politeness. You said any time.